we saw in Florida was the Cuban community there that helped deliver the state for Donald Trump. And Texas went Republican. I think that was always a safe Republican state. But there are some border counties that were largely Democrat last time that made massive shifts towards Republican. And I think the general consensus was in the past, well, you can't build a border wall right there because you're going to make the Hispanic community angry. Well, as it turns out, the legal Hispanic community doesn't mind a border wall and cares about the same things as everybody else, that the immigration rules are followed in their state and that their counties aren't turned into just an illegal walkthrough for people to try to enter into the United States.
I think that if you look at socialism, okay, and there's this notion that like with universal income and all that, it's somehow equals, it's an equalizer. It kind of starts off like that at first, but for all this talk about during COVID-19, the people that were the most hurt were small businesses, small restaurants, mom and pop shops, the little piece of the Canadian or American dream. That is like, you know what, I could open a little gas station, I could become a mini millionaire, and I could, take a few trips and provide college for my kids. That's all slowly dying. I'm actually doing a campaign here in Fort McMurray, trying to get people to support local. And I counted over 30 restaurants have closed in the last 3 years. Various reasons. I can't say like whatever. And what has benefited under this is Walmart and Amazon. So socialism, in my opinion, makes it so the very, very rich stay at the top. And then you'll have this sort of level, like if the Green New Deal comes in, you'll have these political people and then they get paid and they're all it'll protect their little bubble. So I think the Cuban Americans understand that I'm not saying there's some benefits, like there's always pros and cons to everything, but the ones that have gone over to Florida who've escaped, Castro, they don't feel good about socialism. They want their opportunity to work hard and get ahead and not have to feel constantly like they're owned by the state. One of the critiques I have is our bureaucracy is endless. It's endless. I'm leaning more towards a libertarian stance because why should I have, I work hard, I want to choose my own destiny, and you have to pay for everyone else. So I think that this fantasy of socialism is misguided. I also think that, with Black Lives Matters, the most people that actually supported it were white people that had, had this sense of guilt. But if you talk to a lot of Black people, they didn't support Black Lives Matters because and this is what I'm saying, it's deeper than we realize, and the color of your skin I would argue the world slowly but surely is getting more equal and more equal all the time. It's a long process. And I'm not saying racism doesn't exist or microaggressions, but at the end of the day, I think people want what's best for them and themselves and their families and significant others, their pets or whatever. And it's pretty scary how fragile it is. Now, I'm not sure what will happen. I'm sure Michigan will, I imagine this will end up in the Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, the pollsters were wrong. Here's the other thing too, is these I don't know, these sort of what I've learned in the past couple of years, because someone has a university degree, it doesn't necessarily make them overly intelligent. Yeah. And I think there's a level of street smarts and life experience that kind of balances it out. And if the media is supposed to be fair and balanced and tell a story, well, they sure miss that story of what's going on in America with the people. At no point, they just hate Trump so much. Why does Trump have these supporters? Why do people believe in Trump? I also think that this early voting, I don't know if I agree with it, because I think that it does a bit of a disservice to people, because I don't think you know the whole story. Yeah. You could vote 6 months before. Your opinion might change 5 or 6 times. Personally, I always vote the day of.
Yeah.
Because I voted on all sides, if you know what I mean. Like I've never once. Sometimes it depends on the situation. I might like the candidate better, or for
Yeah, sure.
whatever. But for me personally, I think you should vote closer to it's just a little bit. It's a bit up in the air. I thought for sure Trump was going to win Michigan last night, and now I'm not sure.
Yeah. I
So
mean, it
we'll
is
see.
a lot of those early voters missed all the Hunter Biden laptop stuff, and how many of those votes would be changed right now due to buyer's remorse, because they cast a vote for another Democrat who is apparently just as crooked as Hillary Clinton was. If you'd like to get access to my show, as well as other great TV style shows too, like Ezra's Nightly, Ezra Levant Show, and David Menzies' Friday night show, Rebel Roundup, just go to rebelnews.com/subscribe. That's rebelnews.com/subscribe.